Hello everyone, I'm Casper Kumet and happy 3rd year anniversary. And since we've made it to another year, it only feels right that we travel to a new destination. Let's go. Welcome to our new location. As you can see, our journey has led us deep underground for this one. It looks like we've got some remnants of civilization before the collapse here, and it looks like this place may have fallen victim to a cave-in or something. I don't know, I see a lot of, like, claw marks and stuff. Could have been an animal attack or something. But either way, I'm sure everyone here made it out just fine, so there's no need to worry. Just, oh, don't look over here. There's no bodies behind me. I'm sure they're just, plushies. But anyway, thank you all for joining me along for these adventures and playing games with me. It's been a lot of fun, and thank you for anyone new who's recently joined. I'm glad to have you along. And with that all said, let's keep going the next year, and let's start the game. Welcome to Buried. Now, this is an interactive story, so I don't think there's going to be much going on visually, but you can just listen, I guess. I don't know. All you gotta do is listen. Just sit tight and get ready to hear a story. We're in the forest. I open my eyes and the first thing I want to do is scream. I'm flat on my back and everything seems to hurt. The trees overhead look familiar. It's a clear night sky, almost beautiful, except for the fact that this means I've been out cold for the at least 6 hours. But there's something wrong. I don't remember what, but something happened and... my head, my god, my head hurts, and a ringing in my ears. Was there an accident? Explosion, I think. I remember Dennis screaming, but after that I can't remember. As I sit up, I notice that my hard hat has been thrown off. I look around the area, but it's not here. I feel strange to go anywhere without my hard hat, but I've got to find the other members of my crew. They could be in danger. Search for the hard hat? Forget the hat, search for the crew. I mean, you never know what's gonna happen to us. We might want to have the hard hat. I mean, it's probably not gonna take too long to find it, right? I don't know. I feel like whatever's about to happen to us, it's probably gonna be good to have a hard hat. Save our brains from being scrambled too much. I get up on shaky legs and look around for a moment. A few nearby trees look like they have been splintered and broken at this base recently. They certainly weren't like this earlier. Searching for the hard hat feels normal. It makes me feel like maybe there isn't something wrong here. I sit behind the fallen log about 10 feet away from me. How it was thrown so far is beyond me. Driven by nothing more than the habit, I walk over to it, pick it up, and place it on my head. Next, I walk over to the center of the logging site and don't like what I see. See, that didn't take too long. It's all good. Well, except for that. That ain't supposed to be like that. The logging site looks like a bomb detonated right in the center. I don't know where to start. The one load we had managed to stack on the truck for the day is overturned, the trailer bent and the logs hanging off the back. Where the hell is everyone? My head is killing me and this ringing in my ears. I can't hear anything. Not birds, not my footsteps, nothing. Makes me wonder if I hit my head after my hard hat flew off. I run through a quick mental checklist to make sure my brain is still working. My name is Roger Hastings. I'm 41 years old. The year is 2017. I own a small logging company, and we've been logging in this strip of Kentucky woodland for almost a month now. Okay, so my brain works. That's a relief, but it also makes me fearful, because something is certainly not right here. I look around the logging site, my mind trying to figure out what has happened. Just about every piece of equipment has been overturned or tilted. I mean, the debris or the truck? I mean, the truck's kind of concerning. It's like right in front of us. So let's go look at the truck. I feel like the debris and the truck are kind of right next to each other. The truck. The hitch is completely broken, like it was blown off in an explosion or a really bad accident. Had there been an explosion, all the fuel on site would have started a fire, but there's no charring, no burning, nothing. I walked through the area where Dennis had been working. From the looks of it, he'd been moving slowly. He'd only taken down 4 trees today. His metal lunchbox is open, an indicator that he was been taking an early break. But he's not here. No one is here. Where the hell is everyone? I could try to make a call on my cell phone, but its battery is already running really low. Not that it matters. The reception is crap out here. Call someone on cell, yell out. I feel like it's gonna be more effective to yell at this point. You know? Like, they're probably around. Yell. And that way you can be sure there's no one, like, right nearby. Hey guys, where is everyone? Tony? Dennis? Frank? Joe? But their names fall flat among the wreckage. I get nothing back other than scaring away a few birds overhead. Might as well start walking and try to find some answers. The highway is almost a mile back through the woods, down the gravel road we used to reach the site. Maybe the crew ran that way for help. But why would they have left me? Were they scared? Out of sorts? Maybe I can catch up to them, but with my truck turned over on its side, it looks like I'll be walking. My god, I can't even remember what I was doing before waking up on my back. Wait, what's that underneath the bulldozer? Oh my god, it's a leg. It has to be either Tony or Dennis. The dozer looks unstable, like it might roll some more, might not be safe to get close, but at the same time, I can't just leave him there. I don't know, I mean... We don't know if he's alive or not, right? I'm afraid if we stay back, like, what if, like, we could have rescued him? Like, I don't know, man. Maybe if we start seeing the tilting, then just start running. We gotta go look, I think. We can't just leave him there. Hey, I yell, are you okay? Are you alive? Holding onto my hat, I skip over the wreckage equipment and stray logs to get closer. I can see a bit more of the leg, and the jeans are soaked in blood. I recognize the work boots. It's clearly Tony. His leg is bent in an impossible angle, nearly crushed flat. I don't think he's alive. Closer I get, the more apparent it becomes that Tony didn't survive. Just leave it. If we pull it out, like, what if, like, that's the whole, like, it might be holding up the whole, like, vehicle, you know? Like, I feel like we should just leave him. I mean, if he's dead, he's dead, and his body being, like, a couple inches to the left isn't gonna change that. Leave the body alone. We'll get back to it once we've figured out other things, you know? Maybe we can get some crane or something to pick up the truck. There's nothing I can do for him now. I start to back away slowly. In my shock, I stumble back, suddenly tripping over one of the stray logs. My head collides with one of the logs as I bit the ground, but my hard hat does its job. Thank God I decided to look for it earlier. But what's more startling is realizing that Tony is dead. Looking at him, I feel something rising up in my throat, and I don't know if it's a scream or vomit. But I have to push it away. If I lose my cool right now, there are too many questions that will go unanswered. Shit, I can't believe this. Tony, he had 2 boys. He coached his oldest son's baseball team. He was the hardest worker that I had and was one of the most honest and reliable men I knew. This isn't right. I can't stay here. I have to find Dennis, Frank, and Joe. I have to find out what happened here. Continue. Got the logs. As I walk through the stacks of log from the last week or so work, everything feels frozen. This high-pitched sound in my ears, it's terrible. It keeps happening every few seconds, and sounds like it's coming from far away. I can't help but wonder, is it my ears or is it something else? The silence out here is creepy, and there's a smell, like the atmosphere after a bad summer storm. I might as well admit it, I'm a little scared. Everyone is missing and it's dead quiet out here. There doesn't seem to be a breeze to rustle the leaves and branches. My right knee hurts like hell. My head was hurting so bad before that I never even noticed the pain in my knee. I must have heard it during the what? Accident? Or... Wait, is that Dennis? I see him sitting on the ground, motionless about 30 feet away. Yell out or walk up? I mean... I don't know. Can't we do both? Who knows? Maybe he's a little shell-shocked. Let's just walk up to him. He's just sitting there, not moving. I walk up slowly next to him. Dennis. Hey, man, can you hear me? I tap him on the shoulder. He looks up at me from the ground, clearly coming out of a daze. Yeah, Roger, I hear you. He says, Dennis is built like a wrestler and has the tough personality to match. But in this moment, he looks disoriented and even a little anxious. Though I'm glad to see him, the fear on his usually confident face is alarming. What the hell happened? What's going on? He asks. Don't know, the crew is missing, or an explosion, I think. Well, I mean, I don't know, we don't know. And like, maybe he'll know where the crew went. Don't know, the crew is missing. Missing, Dennis says. Where do you think they went? I'm not sure. But it has me pretty freaked out. Something's not right here. Still sitting on the ground, he looks around the woods, as if he's just now understanding the severity of the situation. The equipment was overturned, the dozers too, I say, shifting my hard hat and wiping my forehead. You okay? I ask him. Yeah, just shaken up. Me too. This might be the most intimate conversation Dennis and I have ever had. While he and I have always been on good terms, we've never been particularly close. I've always respected him, though. Sure, he's come to work a few times looking like he's been in a bar fight that night before, but I've also seen him do an enthusiastic impression of a dinosaur as he played with Tony's kids while they waited for their dad to finish up his shift. It's then that it hits me. Dennis and Tony were good friends. I'm not sure I want to rattle him with news of Tony's death right now, not before we know what's going on, but he has the right to know. Yeah, I mean, I don't see why we should hide it. Tony, like, because we have to look for everyone. Like, if we don't look for Tony, that'd be really weird. Tony is dead. You were up front with Dennis about Tony. Dennis's eyes fixate on me, startled. He was crushed under the dozer, I say. Dennis pauses for a moment, like he's trying to understand what I said. His eyes narrow and his bottom lip quivers. Shit, he says. I can tell he's fighting back tears. He and Tony had been tight, almost like brothers. Hey, he adds quickly, as if trying to escape the reality of Tony's death. Did you see that light? No, I say. What did you see? I don't even know, Roger. It was like this flare of white light. Came right up out of the ground like an explosion. So there was an explosion, I say. Maybe it's some equipment, or... This was no equipment, Dennis interrupts, agitated. This huge ball of light came right out of the damn ground. What did it look like? Where did it go? I mean, he said it looked like a huge ball of light, so where did it go? It just shot up into the sky until it was out of sight. When? I'm not sure. But I had finished about 10 trees for the day and was about to top one. That's when it happened. You're almost done with 10 trees? Yeah, he says, looking at the ground. You know, I wouldn't want to take a lunch break until I was done. And that's when the light blew up? Why? You don't believe me? Or, wait. And that's when the light blew up. Why? You don't believe me? I believe you. I mean, there's evidence of, like, all this, so... He saw what he saw, I think to myself. He has no reason to lie about this. My God, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine, he says. But if I'm being honest, it scared me pretty bad. And if it's all the same to you, I'd like to get the hell out of here. We both stand up and start heading towards the road. It isn't until we start moving that I see Dennis is wounded. His right side is coated in blood, the red seeping through his blue work shirt. There's splatters of it here and there, but also a very large red splotch that makes me worry. Ooh. Are you in a lot of pain? How'd you get that injury? Well, let's just ask, are you in a lot of pain? I've been better. I don't know how much longer I can stay on my feet, he says. What happened? I ask. I'm not sure. I must have gotten thrown or hurt somehow from that light. And then I noticed that the strange ringing noise is still filling the air. Hey, I say, stopping. Do you hear that high-pitched ringing noise every once in a while? Dennis looks scared when I ask him this question and he just nods. I thought it was just me, he says. He looks out of sorts and uncertain. I've never seen him like this before. It's obvious that he's looking for some reassurance. Even though I'm his boss, there's something very unnerving about this. We'll be okay, it's probably nothing. It's freaking me out. Well, if he needs reassurance, he should probably not be like, dude, it's totally freaking me out. We'll be okay, it's probably nothing. Let's be realistic, I tell myself. I might as well try to be empathetic. Out here in the middle of these woods, the ringing could be anything. Maybe a car alarm through the woods or something. Still, even my passive comment seems to have reassured Dennis. He looks a bit calmer, more relaxed. We both start moving forward and don't say another word. Did you try to call Frank? Dennis asks. I know he had his cell on him today. Not yet. Luckily, I still have some battery left. I pull out my cell and call Frank. Happy I didn't make that call to Dennis earlier. It rings, but he doesn't pick up. But then I hear his phone go off behind the stack of logs. Dennis and I each give each other a look. As the phone goes to voicemail, I hang up, and we walk behind the logs to find Frank's phone on the ground, abandoned. We look around for Frank, but find nothing, not a single trace. Instead, I notice something really odd, a 10-foot wide hole in the ground, right near where the phone is. But there's no stray piles of removed dirt or rocks. It's clean, smoothly dug, cutting into the earth, wide but only a few feet deep. It looks unnatural, like the ground was just deleted, no shovels or diggers used. Dennis walks over to it. This looks like the same kind of hole where I saw the light come from the ground, he muses to himself. I say nothing. My mind is spinning, but I don't know what to think. I need to get out of here, Dennis mutters. At that moment, the ringing noise carries through the forest again, sending a shiver down my spine. Dennis is right. There's something strange going on. We might not be safe here. That ringing sound could be a clue to where the rest of the crew went. It sounds like Frank got laser beamed away, you know, he's probably incinerated by that light. No, let's check out that sound. Agreed, let's get away from here. I'd be like, hell no, let's get out of here. That sound can be the FBI's problem or whoever's job that is. Agreed, let's get out of here. He decided to avoid the sound. With that, we turn and start walking to the west in the direction that I'm pretty certain leads to the road. Continue. Here we go. I don't know if I'd want to work on the logging site. This is it's creepy. I'd be worried about Slenderman living in these woods. It's sort of embarrassing. I've been a logger for nearly 15 years, but I'm finding it easy to get lost in these woods. The trees are so thick in places that the moonlight doesn't even reach the ground. It's easy to get turned around. My only hope is that I can find the overgrown dirt road that will lead us back to the highway. You sure we're headed the right way? Dennis asks. Pretty sure, I say. I turn to him and see that he's clearly in pain. It's at this moment that we come upon another one of those smooth holes. This one is even stranger because a nearby tree also has a chunk cut out of it. The arc goes smoothly through the ground and then up through the trunk, like a cartoon wrecking ball blasted through both of them. What the hell are these things? Dennis whispers to himself. He takes a step down into the hole, his boots creating imperfections in the shape, like footprints on the sand dune. I mean, I wouldn't want to step on it. Let's walk around the perimeter. I walk along the edge, each step sending pebbles down into the hole and ruining its perfect shape. I'm amazed at how smooth it is. Even rocks that were under the earth have been sheared to fit the spherical shape. But as I'm noticing this, I notice Dennis's feet start to sag. Dennis, get out! I start, but I don't finish. Before he can react, the ground is giving way and he's falling. I try to step back, but the fissure that opens up, it disintegrates the ground beneath my feet as well. I crowd in surprise and can barely hear Dennis letting out a curse as we go down into the earth. Uh-oh. Not good. Dennis is gonna die. He's already injured. I don't know how I'm gonna get him out of this hole. The fall isn't a long one, but we hit something a few seconds later. It hurts like hell. The wind goes rushing out of me when I hit, and the sharp pain flies through me. What the hell? I say once my breath is back. Beside me, Dennis is slowly rolling over to get to his feet. I look up and see the hole in the ground where we fell through. It looks to be about 10 feet over our heads. It's completely dark, but there's a small flicker of light further into the cave ahead of us, and the solid wall of rock behind us. Looks like the only ways out are further down the cave or up through the way we fell in. Dennis might be able to boost me up there, but with his injury, I'm not sure how stable he is. He might drop me. Yeah, I don't trust Dennis to do any lifting. He's already injured and then he just fell down a hole, so I guess we have to head into the cave. I decided we better not risk hurting ourselves trying to climb out. As we turn to head into the cave, I take a closer look at the light further ahead and realize it's artificial. We both start heading towards it instinctively. As we step into the light, panic gently gnaws at me because what I'm seeing makes absolutely no sense. It's no longer a cave or a hole. It's a long, sparsely lit corridor. Ugh. Weird. Oh, yeah, this is a big ol' hell no. Turn around, Dennis. You're hoisting me up. It's a massive corridor. In fact, it seems to go on forever. This corridor is mostly dark, with emergency lights every 10 feet or so. I turn to my left and see that there's a door which appears to lead upwards to the outside, but it's locked tight. I push as hard as I can, but no luck. Dennis, help me with this, I say. He comes over and we both try to kick the door open, but it doesn't budge. For some reason, someone doesn't want people getting out of here. Looks like we're headed down the hallway. If they don't want people getting out of here, I'm certain that we don't want to get in there. But, I mean, let's tiptoe this sucker. I feel like a ghost, like I truly have no business being here. Dennis leans on me for support. We move slowly, our feet not making a sound. If anyone is in here, I want to make sure that they don't hear us. We tiptoe forward as softly as we can. As I carry Dennis to the far end of this otherwise featureless place, I see a flight of concrete stairs leading down. I have to set Dennis down on the floor. His weight is killing me. Dennis, are you okay? Stop worrying, man, he says. I'll be okay. I just need a minute to rest. But looking at him, I'm not so sure. I can still hear the ringing noises every so often, coming from somewhere in here. I look ahead at the concrete stairs, pointing towards them so that Dennis sees them. Can you make it down those stairs, I ask. He stands up slowly and is visibly making an effort to not fall back down. Yeah, he says, and sounds a little irritated. He starts for the stairs without me, and I have no choice but to follow. We approach the stairs, and by just looking at them, I get the sense that we're crossing some sort of a line here. There may very well be no going back. Yeah, we're screwed. Oh no. What's with, like, creepy facilities and aiming to look as creepy as they can be? You know, like, why can't they ever look nice and welcoming? As I head down the stairs, I notice that they look aged. That damned ringing noise is somewhere below, louder than ever. I feel like I'm walking down into the cellar of a haunted house, the light becoming scarce as the stairs take a slight turn. I can feel the temperature drop. Dennis makes it a few steps down before he's leaning on the wall. He's breathing like he just finished a marathon. Let's give him a break. I mean, what's the rush? We're only heading into our impending doom, so pause to give him a break. Let's take a break, I say, putting my hand towards his shoulder to help steady him. Dennis lets out a sigh. Thanks, I don't feel too great, boss. As we both squat down on the stair, my mind seems to lock in on the unknown fate of the rest of my crew. Frank is married and I've met his wife a few times. A nice woman with a huge laugh. My heart sags a bit when I realize I might never get to hear him belting out the classic rock tunes during lunch break. Joe, well, I don't know too much about him. He's 22 years old and is considering community college. His folks are deadbeats, so he's been providing for himself since the age of 16 or so. Maybe I can still find them, and still get to hear Frank singing in a deep baritone voice after a few too many drinks. After a few moments, Dennis sighs. Alright, let's keep going. We both stand up, leaning on each other. I have to make Dennis stay behind me as I stick my foot out in search of the next step. I can't help feeling like a child as a very powerful fear seizes me. I'm expecting a monster to reach out of the darkness, slicing into my throat. After what feels like forever, we come to the bottom of the stairs. We're close to that ringing noise now. A door sits securely in the wall and looks just out of place down here as I feel. A sliver of light seeps through, illuminating the area. The door has what looks like a panel with lots of labels and lights. Small embossed print above the panel says, Level 1 entrance gate, transport sector, and there's a button with no label. Let's inspect the panel. Let's not just start pushing things. Let's inspect that panel. The panel looks like a diagnostic or alert system of some kind, each label meant to communicate some status. Lockdown engaged, experiment in progress, shutdown engaged. Those all appear to be off, but one of the phrases has a slow blinking red light next to it, the only powered light on this whole thing. Abnormal entity breach. What the hell? I slowly push the door open when Dennis suddenly steps in front of me, taking the lead. Let's go, he says. I want to find out what the hell this place is. As Dennis walks through, the ringing or beeping or whatever it is gets a little louder. The door closes behind us with a click. Can't help but notice the wobble in Dennis's step as he lets out a grunt. You sure you're healthy enough to keep going, I ask. Doesn't matter. I don't want to be in the woods right now. He seems scared, something I've never seen before. Angry, yes. Upset, yes. But Dennis is never scared. I mean, I'd be pretty scared too. Like, I don't know. You sure you don't want to try to, like, climb out of that hole again? Because there's an anomaly down here, and I don't know about this, buddy. Alright. What did you see, or what's so dangerous? I mean, I think we have a pretty clear idea of what's so dangerous. If you read that panel, buddy. Well, what did you see? I don't know what it was, boss. It was like someone had left a radio on, crackling. But we don't have any radios on at the site. It was... I don't know, it was like something in the forest was moving. I gave him a doubtful look and he cast his eyes to the ground, frustrated. I know how it sounds, he says, but I know what I felt. It was like walking into a funeral parlor, feeling death and gloom everywhere. I've been so preoccupied with my own fear that I nearly forgot about the ringing noise. It just become background noise. We took a few more steps and I can now see where we were. It makes no sense, yet another thing that simply seems out of place. The shapes and muted colors of metal are easy to identify, but it just doesn't belong here. End of chapter 1. That was fast, but it is very interesting. How many chapters say? 5 chapters. Respect the dead. You and 36 of players left Tony's body where you found it. Secrets. You and 76 of players were up front with Dennis about Tony's death. Trust. You and 55% told Dennis you believed this story. Curiosity. You and 25% of players ran away from the ringing sound. Alright, so I picked the cowardly option there, but you know. I'm surprised that that more people moved Tony's body. Like, I don't know. Just seemed a bit unstable. But, we can probably do chapter 2. Yeah, it's only 34 minutes so far. We can do a chapter 2. Oh, this is a big ol' hell no. We're standing on the thin platform of what looks like a fancy subway. The rails look well used but not old. There are small overhead lights that are very dim, as if they are running on emergency power. The dim overhead lights are a blessing, but the size of the place makes me feel vulnerable. Staring ahead, the tunnel seems to be endless. It's almost dizzying. But there's a small light further ahead, and then a space that breaks the monotony of the tunnel's curved surface. Another platform, maybe. Why are we in the subway tunnel? Dennis, what do you think this is? It does look like a subway tunnel. Why are we in the subway tunnel? Dennis doesn't answer. The reality of what we are seeing is sinking in. Whatever this place is buried way underground. That seems impossible to me, making anything that's on the other side of this tunnel dangerous as far as I'm concerned. But of course we're going to go on. Human curiosity is going to see to that. Also, the ringing noise is louder down here. It's much more solid now, and there's some other sound, something like the faint hum of machinery. What's your take on this, boss? You think we're safe here? Dennis asks. Not at all. This is what I think to myself, but I don't want to let Dennis see that I'm rattled. While he seems to be limping along much better than when we first stumbled into this place, he's still in rough shape. I'm leading him here. I should probably make him feel confident in that. I'm not sure. This is creepier. Yeah, we'll be fine. Well, I mean, if we're trying to make him feel confident, then probably not pick the indecisive, or the cowardly one. Yeah, we'll be fine. Don't look too much into my lies. We're too far in to go back, I say. Besides, if we get caught for trespassing, I'm pretty sure we'd slide by. We're good. You're in pain, and we've got to find the rest of our crew. Could still be here somewhere. Dennis nods and looks reassured, albeit weak and miserable. From the looks of it, we can go either left or right. The left is slightly lit, and the right, not so much. This makes me uneasy because I get the sense that one wrong turn in a place like this would have us wandering for hours. Suddenly, I jerk my head to the right and I hear an unmistakable sound of someone walking. Did you hear something? Asked Dennis, my eyes straining to see anything in the darkness. I'm not sure, he says. Maybe. Kinda sounded like footsteps. I wait a moment. But the sound doesn't come again. So those are our options. To the left are flickering lights, indicating that we're at least able to see. There's also the hum of machinery, a sign of life. To the right is just darkness. But we also heard footsteps in that direction. I mean, just because you hear footsteps doesn't mean it's a person. You know? They did say an anomaly was on the loose. I say we go towards the lights and the machinery. I don't know. I don't trust just heading towards the footsteps. Let's go left. I don't know. I don't trust the footsteps. Seems smart to stay in the light. Left it is. Let's go. Who knows? Maybe we'll find something. As we head left, the lights ahead are like a beacon in the dark, luring us forward. Someone left the lights on for us, Dennis says, trying to be funny, but creeping me out instead. I wonder if that's a good or a bad thing, I say. As we near the lights, I hear the hum of machinery grow louder, but it doesn't sound like any machine I've ever heard before. As the light increases, I use it to take inventory of Dennis and his condition. While the bleeding seems to have stopped, the amount that has soaked into his pants and shirt is beyond alarming. How much further can you walk? I ask him. Can you keep going? Yes, Dennis says. Let's walk into the deep tunnel that has no business being here. Now, fully stepping into the light, I notice the sound of machinery is coming from an area on the left side that is protected by a guardrail. Wisps of blue light dance on the walls as they leak out from whatever is below. I also notice a posted sign that says, Danger, severe radiation poisoning threat. Well, we should probably not get closer. We don't want to get radiation poisoning, so stay back and move on. Dennis, I don't think we should go near whatever's down there, I say. Dennis studies the blue light a bit longer and then nods. He's hurting enough as is. I don't think we need to add radiation poisoning to his list of ailments. Or mine, for that matter. We step away and take off down the tunnel again. As I start walking, I notice another structure coming into view up ahead. Please be an elevator out of here. I have a feeling it's not, though. Oh, but it is an escalator out of here. As we head further into the tunnel, we reach another platform. There's lights coming from the platform, but like the overhead lights, they are dim, red emergency lights. I start to wonder if the explosion at the logging site caused a power outage in this place, whatever this place is. The ringing noise that I originally thought was in my head is getting louder. I'm starting to think it's some sort of alarm. When we come to the large open area ahead in the tunnel, it further resembles a subway station. As much as I try to ignore the reality, it's undeniable. We've stumbled into some sort of high-tech transportation system that is buried beneath the forests of Kentucky. It makes absolutely no sense and creates an entirely new sort of fear as to what the hell we have walked into. I notice that Dennis seems confident, though. When we reach the large opening, we have to climb over the rails and up onto the platform. I have to help Dennis over the rails and then up to the small utility ladder that is bolted into the opposite side of the travelway. When he reaches the large open area resembling a subway waiting area, he collapses on the floor and lets out a heaving breath. You know what? Dennis says, exasperated. This is ridiculous. I quit. I'm not going any further. On top of worrying about my crew and the madness of wherever we are, I'm not in the mood for Dennis to act like a baby. Well, I mean, Dennis is severely injured. I feel like he gets a pass. Get up. Pull together, Dennis. It's okay. Take it easy. You can do this. Let's be nice. It's okay. I'm not the one with the gash in my side, I think to myself, so I decide to cut him some slack. Damn, boss. I'm sorry, he says. It's okay. I don't know how you're still on your feet, if I'm being honest. Stubbornness, he says with a weak laugh. You need a minute to rest, I ask, and as warmly as I can muster, no. If I sit down to rest, I'm afraid I might not get back up. Let's keep going while I can still go. I reach down, help him to his feet, and then we get ourselves onto the platform. Right in front of us, there's an entrance to a long hallway, exiting the platform area. It's at this point I realize those red emergency lights might be on for someone else who's actually supposed to be here. I don't think we should start just screaming. But, I mean... No, because we don't know what the source of those footsteps are. If we yell, then it might alert whatever's that way. We should probably just stay quiet. I'm not sure if I want to alert anyone to the fact that we're strangers in this secret place. And the thought of hearing a scream, even my own scream, in this empty place is too much to bear. The emergency lights continue to flicker overhead, casting a sick sort of pinkish light on everything. My mind is racing with what sort of place this might be. It's obvious that it's meant to be a secret. And if it's supposed to be a secret, and there was a power outage recently, maybe most everyone has been evacuated. This thought does nothing to make me feel any better as we walk towards the platform exit. We step inside and it seems just as empty as every other place we've come through, weakly illuminated by more overhead emergency lights. We're standing inside a hallway that looks surreal for a moment. Yep, that's just fantastic. The hallway reminds me of a hospital wing, but there's something not quite right about it. It's the first clean and tidy area I've seen since coming in the woods. Since coming to in the woods. It looks like it was recently in use despite the dim emergency lights overhead. Those chairs against the walls and the floor look well cleaned, as do the walls. The ringing noise is definitely coming from here, and a small flashing red light along the ceiling seems to flash along with it. That ringing noise is an alarm, I say, if only to confirm my own thoughts. But for what, Dennis asks, and then he asks the question that has been on my mind since we fell in that hole. What the hell is this place? We exchange a look that speaks volumes. We reach the end of the hallway and I hear a sound like a large metallic grinding. This is followed by a clicking noise and then the unmistakable noise of a generator kicking on. Well, if the generator's turning on, hopefully we'll be able to, like, open some doors and get out of here, right? Or whatever, like, however you get down here. An elevator? I don't know. Without warning, the facility jolts to life. The red glow of the emergency lights is suddenly replaced by bright white fluorescent ones. That mechanical hum is oddly comforting. Somehow the power being back on urges us on. It's then that I notice the ringing noise has stopped. So it had been an alarm, but for what? Just a power failure? We head down the hallway, the electric hum of the lights sounding eerie overhead. Other than that, the place is dead quiet. The hall is about 100 feet long with two main doors. One door opens onto a large room that looks like a conference room with a whiteboard and papers strewn about. Across the hallway, another door looks like a laboratory of some sort. Dennis slumps against a wall in defeat and lets out a scary-sounding chuckle. Something funny? I ask as dark and brooding panic starts to grip me. Dennis just keeps chuckling as he slides down to the floor. I'm just gonna sit here while you look around, he says. There's a look in his eyes that reminds me far too much of a dead animal on the side of the road. Well, that's not good. Okay, so we have a conference room or a laboratory. Well, while the laboratory might have more specific answers, I feel like a conference room is safer to walk into, you know? Like, there's not going to be anything dangerous that we can mess up in the conference room, you know? And there's papers and whiteboards, so we will at least get, like, hopefully an understanding of our situation. So let's enter the conference room. Although I'm surprised you can enter any of these places, considering how, like, high security this place is. You'd think you need to pass. A large table sits in the middle of the room, lined with a series of chairs. It looks like something straight out of a showroom. A well-used whiteboard hangs on the wall, and there are scattered papers on the desk. Well, let's look at the whiteboard first. A few things are scribbled on the whiteboard, mostly formulas and names. There's some things that are easy to understand, things that make my blood go cold. Subject number 6, cause of death, embolism or aneurysm, or both? Ideas for new delivery modes, vehicle liquid, induced comatose state first. Terracore company, possible plutonium supplier. Alright, let's look at the papers on the table. Most of the papers and printouts have codes and equations that go way over my head, but there are also handwritten notes that don't make me feel any better about our situation. I read through them and see scrawled notes that say things like, last experiment failed, overdose before transport, levels indicate cellular catabolism, more lead shelding in export suits. Measurements make no sense, so let's let Barkdale know about the possible Higgs field fix. Outside in the hallway, I hear Dennis grunting. I head out of the room to see him still seated on the floor. But I don't get very far, because as I exit, a man comes rushing around the corner with an automatic rifle in his hand. Well, that's not good. We're gonna die. But at least it's actually a person, and not, like an anomaly. Some monster. It's hard to look beyond his rifle, but the man carrying it is young, with messy, dark hair. His skin is so pale that I wonder if maybe he lives down here. He has the look of a guy who's been cooped up for a little too long. He doesn't seem like the kind of person I'd trust with a gun in a stressful situation. As he sees us in the doorway, he screams and brings the gun up, aimed directly at my head. Well, put the hands up in the air, man. Put my hands up in the air, surprised at how natural it feels to go into this surrendered state. Maybe because this feels like a dream. Maybe it's because I feel like I'll snap awake if the maniac pulls the trigger. Who are you and how did you get here? The man asks harshly. Before we can answer, he continues speaking. I don't recognize you. If you're here, you would have had to sneak by the security mics in the entrance hall. What? I say, unable to think of anything else to say. Who are you? The man asks. Did you do this? The man eyes both of us, and I see something in his eyes that unsettles me. He's scared, but there is something else. Well, we're nobody sounds suspicious, so let's go and be honest. We're just loggers. His eyes look distant for a minute, and then he says, bullshit. But for some reason, I'm pretty sure he knows that I'm telling the truth. Someone knocked the power out, the man says. Back on now, but if it was out long enough, well, we're in a heap of trouble. Was it you? Who sent you? Look, we don't know what you're talking about, Dennis says. Something happened out in the woods. Are you alone? Are there others with you? The man asks, thrusting the gun in my face. How the hell did we get in this situation, I think to myself. If we hadn't fallen into that hole, we wouldn't be here. I'm not really sure if we want to be giving this guy information. We don't know anything about him. And then again, might have answers. Well, we don't know if our crew's down here, so we're looking for a crew. You know? Because if someone else pops up out of the bushes, or, well, out of the corner, and be like, oh, you lied to me. We have other crew members that we can't find, they say. Your crew, he says, seeming confused. If this man thinks that we're nuts, there's no telling what he might do. The fact that he looks a little crazy himself makes the situation even hairier. But how'd you get in here? The man asks. I point down the hall towards the subway. We came in that way. The doors weren't locked. His expression calms a bit, but I am still very aware of the gun that is leveled less than a foot away from my face. Don't grab the gun. That's a good way to get your face blown off. Please put the gun down. Let's ask nicely. Because what good is that gonna do us, you know? The only way I'm putting this rifle down is after I've blown your brains out, the man says. With that, he uses the muzzle of the gun to flip my hard hat onto the floor. It's a childish move, a playground tactic at best, but it's sufficient to show me that he knows he's in control now. He then levels the rifle at Dennis, and I can only assume that it's because his wounds make him appear to be the weaker of us. The man takes a shaky step forward. Dennis looks back and forth between the barrel of the gun and me, his eyes pleading for help. I mean, I don't know. I'm afraid if like I step between them, he's gonna think I'm attacking him. But I'm also afraid that if I don't do it, then this is gonna be like, what the hell, man? Let's, I don't know. I mean, he's gonna be fine, right? Like, he hasn't shot me yet. I don't know. I feel bad though. Let's step between them. I don't know if this is the right thing to do, but I feel bad for Dennis. Before I'm fully aware of what I'm doing, I step out in front of Dennis. The barrel of the rifle is nearly touching my chest now. Both Dennis and the man seem a little confused at my action, and I do my best to swallow down my fear. I don't know what's going on here, I say, but we're here by mistake. Well, you have no business here, the man says. But now that the power is on, I think you might be too late anyway. For what? I ask. But he doesn't answer me. Instead, he steps forward and actually pushes me backwards with the end of his rifle. The man then repeats a question he asked me before, one that makes no sense and honestly makes me think he might be a little crazy. Who sent you? He asks. You assholes from the Pentagon? I'm not sure how to take this question. Is this guy joking? Yeah, I'm the president. No, what the hell are you talking about? No, I say, we're just loggers. Something blew up and my friend got hurt. We're looking for the rest of our crew. Likely story, the man says, but I see a flicker of recognition in his face that makes me think he might believe me. Still, his grip on the gun is as tight as ever. The look on his face makes me think he'll shoot at any moment. You both just stand still, he says. Sooner or later someone will come along and I'll turn you over. He again thrusts the gun forward as if it has an invisible bayonet on it. There's no need for that, I tell him. I have no guarantee that he won't pull the trigger. Look, Dennis says. We don't want any trouble. We're just as confused as you are. Then, in the movement so fast that I just about miss it, Dennis lunges forward. I have no idea how he's moving so fast. Just 30 seconds ago, I was worried about how close to death he looked. But now he's moving lightning fast, his left arm coming down on the barrel of the gun like a club. In the commotion, the man does pull the trigger. The booming noise is deafening, and there's a moment where I think I've been hit. It takes the clanging noise of the round tearing into the floor at my feet to help me realize that I have not been shot. I look to the floor and see where the shot missed my right leg by less than 3 inches. I'm paralyzed, in shock for a moment as Dennis and the man fight over possession of the rifle. There's a fire extinguisher on the wall that I can use as a bludgeon, but I might not have enough time to grab it before Dennis is overpowered. Let's just punch him. 2 against 1, you know? I don't know, like, if we don't think we're gonna make it in time. I mean, we're loggers, right? We got big burly muscles. We can just punch the living daylights out of them. Dennis has the man pinned to the floor, but it isn't strong enough to keep him down. As I fall to the floor to help, the barrel of the rifle swings right in front of my face, a reminder of how close I had come to being shot. On my knees now, I deliver a hard, stiff punch to the man's face. I don't punch someone often, never really. I'm not usually the brawling type. Still, it's apparently effective. The man's head snaps back hard and his grip on the gun loosens. Dennis grabs the gun, falls to the floor, clearly winded and in pain. Our attacker is immobilized and I can feel a shift in the situation. Yet, although he is basically harmless now, I feel the need to pummel him, a desire that builds with each second I look at him. Well, I mean, the whole time he seems like he kind of wants to be on our side, but he's just a little scared too, you know? Like, I don't want to punch him into fainting, you know? Like, let's all just take a step back, you know? I don't know. It's no good to just start pummeling people. Stand up and step back. Besides, we'll be the bigger people. He took it easy on the man. He's definitely out now, no threat. Or at least that's what I think. Oh wait, he's already... Well, he's immobilized. I don't know. He's definitely out now, no threat, or at least that's what I think. But he's surprising me by mustering up one more swift kick in my direction, connecting with my forehead. Ouch. My eyelid swells to the size of a grape almost immediately. Seems like this last attack is more to spite me than to defend himself. I stumble back and ready myself for another round of blows, but he just slouches into the floor. He's done. Dennis instantly hands the rifle over to me, and I take it with my shaking hands. I can't believe you stepped between me and that gun, Dennis says. He could have killed you. I was pretty sure he wouldn't, I say, although I had known no such thing. Still, thanks, man. That was some heroic stuff. You would have done the same, right? Dennis says nothing. His eyes look to the floor. That's a no. What do we do now, boss? Dennis asks. We've come this far, and I want answers. I sense that Dennis does too. I walk over and pick up my hard hat off the floor. After placing it on my head, I turn towards the man. We get answers from this guy. No answers, the man says. I don't have any. Next time I won't just hit you, I say, plunging the rifle towards him. Now get up. He obeys quickly, but his legs are wobbly and he leans against a wall for support. I can feel my swollen eyelid from where he kicked me earlier. I just hope it doesn't get so bad that it affects my sight. Okay, let's move, I say, pointing the gun further down the hallway. We've come this far and I'm not going to let this guy stop us. We walk down the hallway until we come to the end. A single elevator waits for us, its steel sliding doors larger than the normal elevator. Please work. Please let us out, but I know it probably won't. But it's a nice dream. Come on, man, open up. Before I get into the elevator with this guy, I think it's wise to learn a little bit more about him. I can tell it's making him uncomfortable for me to have the gun. What's your name, I ask. Marcus. And you work here? It's clear that he doesn't want to answer, but he gives us a little nod. We're looking for the rest of our crew. Any idea where they might be, I ask? No, he says curtly, not bothering to elaborate. There's gotta be some useful information we can get out of this guy. I just need to know how to dig for it. I need a first aid kit from my friend here. Where might I find one? Down on the second floor, he says. But we can't go down there. We are going down there, okay? What's on level 2? I mean, I don't want to just go down there if he says... like, he knows that there's stuff going on. Like, what's on level 2? Let's not be stubborn about it. He looks at me like I'm an idiot. You must be aware you're inside of a classified government facility, he says. It makes sense, but I want to doubt it. Well, I'm sure a government will want you to help save my friend, so take me to the first aid kit. I can't, he says. You don't have clearance. Hell, I barely have clearance. Then, seemingly to himself, he mutters, I make this place run. And not even a thank you, just a bunch of restricted access rooms that I'm only allowed to go into with a freaking chaperone. I interrupt his monologue. We're going to the first aid kit. I could lose my job, he says. I wonder for a moment what sort of trouble I could get in for hitting a government employee. This makes me glad I took it easy on him. Then again, he had come at us with a rifle. It makes me think that things have gone terribly wrong in the first place. And then the explosion in the woods, or whatever the hell happened, might be linked to it all. I need to convince him to take us to the second floor, but I'm not sure if it would be more productive to threaten him or ask for sympathy. I mean, Marcus here seems like a pretty stubborn guy, you know? Like, I don't think threatening him will do any good. Let's try to appeal to his kinder nature. Ask for help. Look, I say. It hasn't been the best day. We're just trying to find out what's going on, to find our crew, to survive. I know that this isn't a normal situation down here. It looks like all your protocols have been blown to hell. Can't you help us out? He looks at me sternly, weighing his options. Okay, he says. Thank you, I say. With an untrusting stare, Marcus walks to the elevator door, approaching a small keypad by the doors. Punches in a numerical code on the keypad and we can hear a slight mechanical hum behind the steel doors. After a few seconds of angry glances and frightened sneers from Marcus, the elevator arrives. The steel doors slide open with a whisper, revealing the interior. I don't know about going further down. Can't we just go up? Go up and we'll find a first aid kit on the surface. You know? Call for an ambulance. It's exceptionally well lit and looks to be made of stainless steel. I half expect the thing to take off at the speed of light. There's another small keypad on the front right panel by the door with the options for 3 sub-level floors. Looks like this elevator doesn't go to the surface, but that sucks. So after we get the first aid kit for Dennis, how do we get out of here, I ask? We can't leave, Marcus says. Once the power came back on, the whole place was put on lockdown. What? I shout. Can't you override it? No, it's to prevent anything from getting out. I can't. Marcus looks as deflated as Dennis. We can't get out? We're stuck here. Dennis leans into the corner and almost falls onto the floor. The struggle for the rifle took a lot out of him. I could see that much in his face. Slowly, we start to move down. The hum and grind of the car's motors fill the fill the space. So what can you do? So we're stuck here forever? I mean, it's nice to ask, so are we stuck here forever? How do we get out if it's on lockdown? Marcus scowls at me. I think it's a fair question. Doesn't seem unreasonable to assume he won't be able to get us out. We'll find somebody with the access codes and they'll be begging me to figure out how to lift the lockdown. These people think they're so brilliant, but some of them can barely turn their computers on without help. The top coder in my class at MIT, and I'm stuck living underground helping idiots who don't even trust me with the keys. So wait, he knows how to get us out, but he just... oh, no, you need the access code from somebody else. Okay, I see. How big is this place? What goes on here? Well, it's more important to know what goes on here than the size of it. What goes on here? Marcus shakes his head. You may as well shoot me. I can't tell you. Why not? It's beyond classified, and the things I know don't even cover the start of it. What does that mean, I ask, starting to get irritated. It means that even if I wanted to tell you that what sort of work is done here, I don't know enough about it. What's your job? We really want to ask how big this place is. I handle the IT work and make sure the databases are up and running. It's a 24/7 job. I haven't seen sunlight in almost a year. That sucks. I wonder what staying in a place like this for that long would do to someone's mind. I was recruited, he continues, because of the workload. No one else wants this job. But I don't really mind being by myself. No family. Plus, the IT. It's some crazy shit. Crazy how? This place generates over 100 terabytes of data per day, he answers, getting the slightest bit excited about before his face falls again. What happened here? Seems like some sort of power outage, Marcus says. That's all I know. There was an outage and then... Then what? Dennis says weakly. Then things got weird. Things got bad. Bad how? I ask. This whole place seemed to shake when the lights went out. I was checking the monitors when it happened and everything went dead. It took no more than a minute or so before I started hearing the screams. People were being killed by something. I tried getting the security cameras going again, but they only lasted for a little bit on my backup systems. But what I saw... What? I asked, feeling a sharp fear warm its way into my guts. Well, what I saw on the screens for that little bit of time made no sense. It made me get the gun from the emergency vault. I think whatever it is, it's still down here. Hold on, I say. There's an emergency vault with a rifle in it in the same room the security cameras as the security cameras in this place? Marcus gives me a grin that looks nearly insane. There are guns locked away in every room in this place, just in case, you know? Just in case of what? He opens his mouth to answer. The elevator comes to a stop and the doors slide open. Marcus is out right away without a word. He makes his exit and heads directly for a glassed-in room that is filled with computer monitors and high-end equipment. Dennis and I file out behind them, trying to keep up. As we do, one very alarming question runs through my head. What the hell kind of government facility keeps loaded guns and emergency vaults in every single room? Not a good one. And that's the end of chapter 2. We are so dead. Curiosity. You and 39% of players obeyed the warning signs and stayed away from the glow. Selflessness. You and 64% of players stepped out in front of Dennis to protect him from Marcus. Mercy. You and 65% of players were easy on Marcus after he surrendered. Man, I don't know. A lot of people went and investigated those footsteps, but I mean, I guess it was just Marcus, right? But I don't know. What time is it? Oh, I should probably stop for today. But we can continue this next time. So we'll save it here for now. So that's all for this time. I'm interested in seeing where this is going. I don't know. I don't know if we're all gonna make it out of here alive. It doesn't seem good, you know? Like, if you have a whole facility that, like, you have to have rifles in every room, like, I don't know. I find our odds our odds of surviving pretty low. And, like, you need to build a whole entire building that's specifically for making sure that whatever's in there doesn't get out. I don't know if a gun's gonna help us. But you never know. But anyway, I hope you like the new background, and I hope you like the game, and we will continue this next time. So let me know what you think of the video down in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. This is Casper Kuma, over and out.